January 13th, 2006. 300 Argentine police officers swarm the perimeter of Banco Rio. Inside, 23 hostages press their faces against cold marble floors. Masked gunmen wave pistols inches from their skulls. One twitch, one wrong breath. This becomes a bloodbath. Then, the gang leader makes an absurd demand. He wants pizza. The negotiator thinks he's lost his mind. But the man behind the mask knows exactly what he's doing. Because while every cop in the city watches that front door, a second crew is already beneath their feet, inside the vault, stuffing $19 million into black duffel bags. The hostage crisis upstairs? Pure theater. The guns? Children's toys. The real heist is happening underground, and it's been running for 2 hours. In 7 minutes, these thieves will vanish from a completely surrounded building. They'll leave behind traumatized hostages and humiliated police, and a handwritten note that reads, "Without weapons or grudges, it's just money, not love. The entire nation will call them heroes." But one of them is about to lose everything, betrayed by the person who should have protected him most. How did 6 men outsmart an entire country? And how does the perfect crime finally unravel? December 2003. The mastermind lights his 4th joint of the day in his cramped apartment. The struggling artist stares at yellowed newspaper clippings. The Ramallo bank siege, 1999. Police stormed a bank and killed 2 hostages on live television. A national disgrace. But where others see tragedy, he sees opportunity. He sketches on a napkin, what if robbers could disappear from inside a surrounded bank? Not through shootouts, not through surrender, through magic. He calls his high school friend, the engineer, a man who fixes motorcycles in a garage on the outskirts of the city. The engineer's hands tell his story, scarred from years of welding, calloused from building the impossible. His family lost 80,000 pesos when the banks collapsed in 2001. Their life savings, gone overnight. When the mastermind proposes robbing Banco Rio, the engineer doesn't laugh. He asks one question: how? The mastermind spreads blueprints across the workbench. Banco Rio in Acasuso sits above storm drains connecting to the Rio de la Plata. The vault extends into the basement. During business hours, motion sensors deactivate so employees can access safe deposit boxes. The idea is elegant in its simplicity. 2 teams strike simultaneously. One stages a hostage situation upstairs, pure theater to mesmerize 300 cops, while another team enters through tunnels below to empty the vault. No violence, no casualties, just misdirection on an unprecedented scale. The engineer traces the sewer lines with his finger. The tunnel would need to run 150 meters through active drainage pipes, break through 2 feet of reinforced concrete, all without detection. Impossible for most. But not for an engineer who spent his life building the impossible. They choose Acasuso for a reason. After Argentina's banking collapse seized middle-class savings, wealthy clients stopped trusting banks with their money. Instead, they stuffed safe deposit boxes with untraceable assets: cash, gold, diamonds. Box rentals in Acasuso cost triple the city average, because clients here store fortunes. Unlike serial-numbered bills from teller drawers, valuables from private boxes can't be tracked once stolen. The perfect score for men seeking revenge against the banks that destroyed their country. The mastermind drafts the operation like a screenplay, complete with dialogue, stage directions, character motivations. The ground team becomes actors. The heist becomes the movie. Every phone call, every demand, every pizza order serves a purpose. Buying time for the vault team below, he calculates they need exactly 2 hours and 7 minutes to crack enough boxes. The hostage drama must last precisely that long. 1 second too short, the vault team gets caught. 1 second too long, police might check the basement. The margin for error is 0. By January 2004, they're ready to recruit. But who joins a suicide mission against 300 cops? And which member of this crew will ultimately destroy them all from within? January 2004. The veteran sits in a smoky pool hall, chalking his cue when the mastermind approaches. The veteran robbed 17 banks with the Super Banda gang throughout the 1980s. He knows vault layouts, police response times, hostage psychology. He also knows the mastermind's father from the old neighborhood. When the plan is mentioned, the veteran doesn't flinch. He asks 3 questions. How much? How many guns? How many men? 20 million minimum, 0 real weapons, 6 men. The veteran agrees on one condition. He brings his own partner. The Uruguayan enters the conspiracy through the veteran, former military, trained in combat tactics. The Uruguayan specializes in intimidation without violence. He once held 43 hostages for 6 hours using only psychological pressure. Never fired a shot. His presence alone makes people comply. The Uruguayan studies the script, noting each tactical weakness. The fake guns need weight to look real. The hostages must believe the threat without experiencing harm. Every actor needs specific dialogue to maintain character. The Uruguayan rewrites sections with military precision. Through underground contacts, they recruit the surveillance expert, another super banda veteran, 8 years in prison perfecting the art of patient planning. The surveillance expert insists on reconnaissance. For 3 months, he photographs every angle of Banco Rio. Employee shift changes at 8:47 a.m. Armored truck arrivals at 2:15 p.m. The manager's smoke breaks at 10:30 a.m. Behind the building, he creates a minute-by-minute timeline of the bank's rhythms. He discovers the golden window, Friday afternoons between 12:30 and 3:30 p.m., when wealthy clients visit their boxes before weekend trips. When vault security relaxes, the driver joins as getaway coordinator, the only member who won't enter the bank, a former racing mechanic who modified engines for illegal street races until a crash ended his career. The driver scouts 17 escape routes from storm drain exits. He times police response from every precinct. 13 minutes from Acasuso Station. 18 minutes from San Isidro. He'll wait at a manhole cover 3 blocks away. Engine running. Ready to extract the tunnel team. One delay. One wrong turn. Everyone gets caught. The engineer, now the crew's technical mastermind, begins his underground reconnaissance. He enters storm drains at 2 a.m. wearing a wetsuit and headlamp. The tunnels reek of sewage and methane. Rats scatter from his light. He measures distances with laser precision. The main drainage pipe runs directly beneath Banco Rio's vault, separated by 24 inches of reinforced concrete. He'll need specialized equipment. A pneumatic hammer that operates silently underwater, industrial-grade water pumps, reinforced lumber to prevent collapse. The shopping list totals 50,000 pesos, around $5,000. They'll fund it by robbing a smaller bank first, which they do successfully in late 2004. By December 2005, the crew is complete. 6 men united by different motivations: revenge, money, adrenaline, but bound by the mastermind's singular vision. They rehearse in an abandoned warehouse, running through every scenario. What if police storm early? What if a hostage has a heart attack? What if the tunnel floods? They drill responses until reaction becomes instinct. The mastermind makes them memorize their lines like Shakespearean actors. This isn't just a heist. It's a performance that will play on every television in Argentina. But can the engineer actually break through 2 feet of concrete without triggering alarms? And which team member will betray every single one of them? September 2005. The engineer descends into the city's storm drains carrying a waterproof bag of power tools. The tunnel stretches ahead, a concrete artery pumping sewage toward the river. He's mapped this route 47 times. Tonight, he begins cutting. The pneumatic hammer bites into concrete beneath Banco Rio. Each strike sends vibrations through pipes that could alert anyone above. He works in 10-second bursts, listening for footsteps, alarms, anything. 4 hours later, he's penetrated 6 inches. At this rate, breaking through will take 15 nights. October brings complications. Heavy rains flood the tunnels. The engineer installs pumps running on car batteries. He builds wooden supports to prevent cave-ins, hauling lumber through sewage in complete darkness. One night, methane levels spike so high his detector screams warnings. He retreats, returns with an oxygen tank. Another night, he encounters a homeless man living in the tunnels. The man runs at the sight of the engineer's headlamp. The next morning, the engineer scans newspapers for reports of suspicious activity. Nothing. So he continues. Above ground, the crew conducts surveillance with scientific precision. The Uruguayan poses as a customer, opens a checking account to study the interior layout. He memorizes camera angles, 13 total, with blind spots near the basement stairs. The surveillance expert photographs employees, learning their names, their habits, their weaknesses. The manager arrives earliest and leaves latest, carries the vault keys on a chain. The security guard is 58 years old, 2 years from retirement, never draws his weapon during monthly drills. They build psychological profiles of every person who will be inside on the day. The mastermind scripts dialogue with obsessive detail. The Uruguayan will demand pizza at exactly 2:47 p.m., confusing negotiators who expect requests for helicopters or millions in cash. The absurdity serves a purpose. Pizza delivery requires approval from multiple commanders, buying precious minutes. The veteran will release one hostage every 20 minutes, maintaining police hope for peaceful resolution. The surveillance expert will fire blanks at the ceiling at calculated intervals, just enough to prevent police from storming, not enough to trigger assault. Every word, every gesture, choreographed to control police psychology. December 20th, 2005. The engineer breaks through the final inch of concrete. His headlamp illuminates the vault floor above. Smooth tiles, he's seen only in blueprints. He's created a hole just wide enough for a man to squeeze through. He photographs the opening, seals it with quick-dry cement he can break in seconds on the day. The tunnel is ready. 5 days before Christmas, the crew meets for final rehearsal. They run the entire operation in real time, 2 hours 7 minutes from entry to escape. The driver practices the extraction route until he can drive it blindfolded. January 11th, 2006. 48 hours before execution. The mastermind distributes replica weapons, plastic Berettas weighted with lead to feel authentic. He hands out masks, gloves, the coveralls the engineer's team will wear underground. They synchronize watches. The weather forecast for January 13th. Clear skies, 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough that police will avoid heavy armor. Perfect conditions for the performance of their lives. The surveillance expert asks what happens if someone gets harmed. A hostage, a cop, one of them. The mastermind's answer is immediate. We abandon everything and run. This only works if no one gets hurt. But how long can 6 men control 24 hostages without real bullets? And what happens when one of their own wives discovers their secret? January 13th, 2006, 12:28 p.m. The engineer enters the storm drain wearing coveralls and carrying an underwater sledgehammer. Behind him, the veteran and the surveillance expert wade through knee-deep sewage. They reach the sealed entrance beneath Banco Río. The engineer strikes once. The cement plug crumbles. They're inside the vault. Above them, 23 customers and employees conduct normal Friday business, unaware that 3 men just materialized below their feet. 3 minutes later, at 12:31 p.m., the Uruguayan, the mastermind, and the surveillance expert walk through Banco Rio's front door, dressed as businessmen. The Uruguayan approaches the information desk, asks about opening an account. The moment the security guard turns away, he pulls his replica pistol. Nobody move. This is a robbery. His voice carries military authority that makes everyone freeze. The mastermind locks the front door. The surveillance expert herds customers against the wall. They work with surgical precision, no wasted motion, no hesitation. Within 90 seconds, they control the entire bank. By 12:45 p.m., police receive the first emergency call. By 12:52 p.m., 40 patrol cars surround Banco Rio. By 1:15 p.m., 300 officers establish a perimeter. Helicopters circle overhead. Snipers position on rooftops. Inside, the Uruguayan begins his performance. He calls the police. Sounds reasonable, almost apologetic. We don't want anyone hurt. We just need time to think. He releases a bank teller to show good faith. She emerges crying. Tells police the robbers seem nervous but not violent. Negotiators interpret this as weakness. They're wrong. 1:30 p.m. In the vault below, the engineer's pneumatic ram destroys safe deposit boxes in seconds. Box 73 explodes in a shower of euros. Box 91 contains gold coins dated 1892. Box 156 holds bearer bonds worth $2 million. They work systematically. Left wall, back wall, right wall. Some boxes contain family photos, love letters, deceased relatives' ashes. These they leave untouched. Others burst with cash so dense it seems fake. One box holds nothing but cut emeralds that scatter across the floor like green stars. They stuff everything valuable into waterproof duffel bags. At 2:47 p.m., the Uruguayan makes his pizza demand. The negotiator actually laughs. You want pizza? Now? The Uruguayan insists. 30 boxes, assorted toppings, enough for hostages and robbers. The request travels up the chain of command. The commissioner laughs. The chief laughs. Everyone laughs at these amateurs demanding food during a siege. They approve the order. At 3:05 p.m., delivery drivers approach under police escort. The smell of oregano and cheese fills the bank. Hostages eat nervously. One woman later describes it as the most surreal meal of her life. Police psychologists interpret the feast as a positive sign. The robbers are humanizing their captives. 3:27 p.m. The engineers team has cracked 143 boxes. The duffel bags bulge with approximately $19 million in mixed currencies, gold, and jewels. The engineer checks his watch. Time to go. He tapes their message to the wall. In a neighborhood of rich people, without weapons or grudges, it's just money, not love. They lower themselves back through the hole into the drainage tunnel. Above, the Uruguayan tells the final lie. We're coming out. 5 minutes. He hangs up. 3:32 p.m. The tunnel team loads bags onto an inflatable raft, paddling through sewage in total darkness. 3 blocks away, the driver waits at manhole cover 47B. One by one, they emerge, soaked, stinking, victorious. They pile into his van. At 3:33 p.m., while police still surround Banco Río, the real robbers are already gone. The van disappears into traffic. Inside the bank, the Uruguayan leads hostages to the basement conference room. Stay here. Don't move for 10 minutes. He locks them inside, places toy guns by the door. The upstairs crew vanishes down the hole. How long before police realize the bank is empty? And which robber's marriage is about to explode, taking everyone down with it? 7:45 p.m. 4 hours later, SWAT teams storm Banco Rio. Flash grenades explode. Officers sweep rooms shouting clear. They find 23 hostages locked in the basement conference room, traumatized but unharmed. They find toy guns arranged in a neat row. They find pizza boxes, some still warm. They find no robbers. The commander radios headquarters. The subjects have vanished. Silence on all channels. Then someone asks, "What do you mean vanished?" 8:15 p.m. Detectives enter the vault. Safe deposit boxes hang open like mouths screaming. The floor glitters with scattered pearls and torn velvet. A detective kicks aside gold certificate papers, worthless without their bearer bonds. Then he sees it. The hole. A perfect circle leading into darkness. He aims his flashlight down. The beam disappears into storm drains that stretch for miles beneath the city. The note on the wall mocks them. Without weapons or grudges. It's just money, not love. One detective whispers what everyone's thinking. They played us. Within hours, the story dominates every screen in Argentina. News anchors struggle between outrage and amazement. Banco Rio robbers disappear like ghosts. The heist of the century. Police fooled by pizza and toy guns. Talk show hosts debate whether to condemn or applaud. Callers flood radio stations. Most support the thieves. They rob the rich without harming anyone, says one caller. They're heroes. After banks seized billions during the 2001 collapse, many Argentines view this as poetic justice. International media descends on the city. BBC calls it brilliantly audacious. CNN interviews hostages who describe their captors as polite, even entertaining. The bank manager reveals the Uruguayan apologized while using her as a prop. He said, "I'm sorry, but the police need to see this." The toy guns become instant symbols. Photographs show forensics teams bagging children's pistols as evidence. One newspaper runs the headline, "They robbed us with toys." Police launch the nation's largest manhunt. Forensic teams vacuum every inch of Banco Rio. They find bleach poured everywhere, DNA evidence destroyed. They find hair clumps tracing to various beauty salons, false clues planted to waste investigative time. The abandoned van contains nothing useful. The tunnel offers no fingerprints. Detectives interview 300 witnesses, analyze 10,000 hours of footage, chase 1,400 leads. Every trail ends nowhere. The robbers have genuinely vanished. By February 2006, the investigation stalls. No suspects, no arrests, no progress. The Interior Minister promises results. The Justice Minister demands action. The public laughs at both. Graffiti appears across the city. Banco Rio 6, Police 0. T-shirts featuring toy guns sell out. A cumbia song about the heist tops local charts. The robbers have become folk legends. But in a modest house in the provinces, The wife watches her husband count stacks of $100 bills. She knows exactly where that money came from, and she's about to make a decision that will destroy everything. What drives a wife to betray the father of her child? And how much of the $19 million will police actually recover? February 15th, 2006. The wife discovers $73,000 hidden inside her bedroom wall. Her husband tore open the plaster while she visited her mother, stuffed cash behind insulation, sealed it with fresh drywall. She only noticed because the paint doesn't match. This is the third time she's found money. First under floorboards, then inside the water heater, now the walls. Her house has become a vault. She knows about the Banco Río heist. Everyone does. She knows her husband was involved. What she doesn't know, he's planning to leave her. The veteran tells friends he's moving to Paraguay with his girlfriend, a 23-year-old he met at a nightclub. The wife discovers the affair through text messages. She confronts him. He denies everything, then admits everything, then promises to end it. 3 days later, she follows him to the girlfriend's apartment. She pounds on the door, screaming. Neighbors call police. Officers arrive to find the wife crying in the hallway, shouting about stolen money, about Banco Río. One detective recognizes the significance. 5 days later, the wife walks into federal police headquarters. She provides names. Her husband, his partner, the Uruguayan, someone called the surveillance expert. She describes planning meetings in her kitchen while she served coffee. She overheard tunnel discussions, gun rehearsals, pizza strategies. She knows they used toy weapons because her husband laughed about it for hours afterward. She doesn't know about the mastermind or the engineer. He kept her partially ignorant for her own protection, but she knows enough. Detectives promise protection for her and her 7-year-old son. In exchange, she gives them everything. March 7th, 2006. Pre-dawn raids strike simultaneously across the city. Police smash through the veteran's door at 4:47 a.m. They find him sleeping beside $970,000 in cash. He doesn't resist. At 4:48 a.m., they arrest the Uruguayan at his mother's house. At 4:51 a.m., the surveillance expert surrenders peacefully. Within hours, subsequent raids capture the mastermind, the engineer, and the driver. The only evidence? The wife's testimony and the money in the veteran's house. The rest of the $19 million remains hidden. 1 week later, news breaks. Banco Río gang captured. The public reacts with disappointment. Polls show 68% of Argentines wanted them to remain free. Lawyers volunteer to defend them pro bono. Crowds gather outside the courthouse chanting support. Even hostages express sympathy. Several refuse to testify. They say they were treated well. The prosecutor faces an unusual problem: jury sympathy. These aren't violent criminals who terrorized innocents. They're artists who embarrassed authority. The trial becomes theater itself. The mastermind, ever the performer, treats court like a stage. He explains the heist as a work of art, a statement against financial oppression. The engineer describes tunnel engineering with professorial precision. Jurors actually laugh. The Uruguayan maintains military bearing throughout, never breaking character. They don't deny guilt. They deny shame. When asked about the missing millions, the mastermind smiles. What money? We took toy guns to a bank. The prosecutor cannot prove how much was stolen. Safe deposit boxes aren't registered. Contents unknown. Box owners claiming losses can't document what they lost. Not without admitting tax evasion, the perfect defense. Sentences range from 9 to 15 years. By 2020, all are free. The mastermind writes a book, sells movie rights, gives university lectures on creative resistance. He claims everyone won. Police got fame, prosecutors got promotions, we got rich, Argentina got entertainment. The missing 17 million never surfaces. Some believe it's buried, others think it was spent. A few suspect they invested it, living off interest while serving time. The greatest magic trick in criminal history succeeded completely. They robbed a bank using pizza and toys, vanished in plain sight, became folk heroes despite capture. They proved perception beats reality, that controlling the narrative matters more than controlling weapons. They turned crime into art, humiliation into admiration, capture into victory. Except for the veteran. His wife got revenge. His girlfriend got scared. His crew got suspicious. He lost everything: money, family, respect from his partners. The man who helped pull off the perfect heist was destroyed by the oldest weakness: Betrayal born from broken promises. The money couldn't save his marriage, couldn't buy loyalty. In the end, the wife accomplished what 300 police couldn't. She made the magicians disappear.